WandaVision Episode 8 has just released on Disney+, and I've had a chance to watch the episode, which includes some big reveals, flashback scenes, a post-credit scene, and more to break down. In particular, I'm going to be explaining the plot and ending for WandaVision Episode 8, entitled Previously On, in the aim to help you guys gather a greater sense of what happened. This analysis will also contain spoilers, so if you happen to be someone who hasn't watched Episode 8 of WandaVision Season 1, then I would recommend watching this video after you've caught up. If you want to see more videos on all of the Disney Plus Marvel shows, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoy this video, remember to give it a like rating. But without further ado, let's dive into my breakdown and explained video for Episode 8 of WandaVision. So we're now just 1 week away from WandaVision's final episode, which is rumoured to be absolutely packed with massive Marvel action, big twists, and maybe even more surprise cameos. The game has shifted away from the black and white dinner party, which we started with in January. But then, who could have thought back then that we'd have spent a good week singing a song about a witch played by Catherine Horn? Certainly, it was hard to stop humming It Was Agatha All Along during this week's penultimate episode, which saw our new witch take a trip down memory lane with Wanda, hoping to discover the source of her unusual powers. In a way, this week's function solved a few lingering mysteries and let us know what happened behind the scenes, even if it didn't hugely advance the plot itself. I personally really liked it though, because it really got to the emotional motivation that Wanda has been leading up to that we are seeing unfold. It's what I've wanted for a few weeks, and it sets up the finale pretty well. For example, fake Pietro, as Agatha called him, is obviously not Wanda's brother. Rather, he's just someone she's controlling, and Wanda's powers are genuinely just magic, albeit untrained, which means despite Wanda's strength, she's easily contained by a more experienced witch. However, I do think that her creation of the Hex is something that could be linked to the flashback of her with the Mind Stone, which could give us an entry to the multiverse next week. However, there was an interesting twist that ties more closely to the comics, where Wanda is a magic user rather than some kind of telekinetic, and could tie into Olsen's confirmed presence in Doctor Strange 2. Really, there's a lot to get into, but before I theorise too much, it's time to discuss the flashbacks we saw. As we check in with Agatha after last week, and a new little exploration into her past during the 1690s, where we see her drain a group of witches, she attempts to find out how exactly Wanda created such a powerful illusion. Her first stop is Wanda's Sokovian childhood, where her obsession with classic US sitcoms helped her through the loss of her parents, even as her and Pietro were trapped in their collapsed home with a Stark bomb, as previously mentioned in 2015's Age of Ultron. But here a different reading of the scene is presented. What if the bomb wasn't faulty? What if instead Wanda was a baby witch who was able to stop the bomb somehow, and her powers were simply enhanced by the Infinity Stone later in life? I mean, it doesn't fully explain where Pietro got his super speed from, but let's go with it. Certainly, the show seems to think so, jumping forward to Wanda's time in a Hydra facility to show the moment her full magic was unlocked, thanks to her exposure to Loki's scepter, aka the Mind Stone. As Wanda sees the yellow stone within, a cascade of energy reveals a familiar, pointy-headed silhouette, that of her classic Scarlet Witch costume, and later, the entire exchange has been edited from the CCTV footage. Agatha theorizes that the stone enhanced the magic that would otherwise have died on the vine, but it still doesn't explain how Wanda pulled off the whole Westview anomaly with the Hex. But then another door leads to another memory, this time to the Avengers compound sometime after Age of Ultron. Here we see Wanda once again watching a sitcom with some of the Dick Van Dyke and Malcolm in the Middle references from previous episodes, and we also see more clearly the role Vision had in comforting her after Pietro's death, suggesting to her, what is grief if not love persevering? This was a great moment and shows that he did have a way with words. It's emotional, but it also sets up what's to come. In Agatha's own words, parents dead, brother dead, Vision dead. What happened when he wasn't there to pull you back from the darkness, Wanda? Well, we'll soon find out, because after seeing glimpses in earlier episodes, this week finally shows us what happened when Wanda went to Sword to claim Vision's body, only to find that he wasn't just in cold storage. Instead, director Hayward and his team have been taking Vision to pieces, trying to see what makes him tick, in a faintly demeaning and unsettling visual of Paul Bettany chopped up onto various tables. We're dismantling the most significant sentient weapon ever made, Hayward says, in a sentence that makes you think Sword are still really trying to justify their actions. Crucially, he's curious to see whether Wanda could bring Vision back to life, but if she isn't going to try, he can't let her have him. He's all I have, Wanda says. Well, that's just it, Wanda. He isn't yours, Hayward replies. And after a slightly tense standoff, Wanda backs off. Leaving the corpse of her lover behind, she instead drives over to Westview, New Jersey, spotting the real versions of several of her sitcom friends before heading to the house she and Vision were apparently going to live together. Clearly, New Jersey suffered quite a lot from the blip in Avengers Endgame, even if it just came to lawn maintenance. But at her and Vision's home, Wanda finally breaks, falling to her knees and crying, and then when it happens, a cascade of red energy bursts from within her, transforming the town and recreating Vision. We're now back in the 1950s-esque setting where we started. The colour has drained, and the last missing piece has been revealed. This is how it all started. And really, it's not that big of a surprise. I think we all kind of assumed Wanda was sad and had a little breakdown and changed everything, and that the show might add a little more of a twist on top of that. But again, what makes it powerful is the motivation, and the flashbacks help to accomplish this. And of course, we still had the twist with Agatha before. And Agatha, of course, still has the boys. Outside in her full costume, with a hint of comic book Agatha's trademark choker necklace, Catherine Horn's witch lays it all out as her magic chokes Tommy and Billy. "I know what you are. You have no idea how dangerous you are," she says, noting that Wanda's supposed to be a myth. "This is chaos magic, Wanda," she continues, "and that makes you a Scarlet Witch." Yes, for the first time, someone has said Wanda's actual comic book name in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and while it was a little laboured, who are we to judge? And like last week, the episode didn't leave it there, delivering a post-credit scene to tease what's coming. But this time, it's a lot more interesting. Back outside the Hex, we see Hayward and his goons have used some of Wanda's energy and finally got something working. We find out that this is a reconstructed pale Vision, or white Vision if you're a comic book fan. In case it wasn't clear before, Hayward lied about Wanda stealing Vision's body. Clearly he's been lying all along, just looking for some way to get his project up and running, whether that means stealing Wanda's second Vision or just getting her to make his work. And now he's found it. Now it seems like we're set for a Vision versus Vision, Witch versus Witch smackdown in next week's finale, and honestly I can't wait to see what level of action Marvel is capable of on the small screen. If nothing else, we've come a long way since the beginning, and the big budget that was rumoured before may be unloaded in next week's finale. We'll have to see, but I'm also hoping for many other questions to be answered, such as the ones we have surrounding the other kids in Westview, and of course who Pietro really is. But that was my brief breakdown video explaining the plot and ending for episode 8 of WandaVision. Overall, this was an episode full of clarity when looking at the main motivation, including answers towards the WandaVision commercials, which were specifically exploring Wanda's trauma. Now, this episode may not have brought the most surprising twists, but there's something satisfying about seeing some of the main pieces come together, with the central story of Wanda's motivation making for an unusually moving Marvel piece. As for whether there are still surprises in store next week, we'll have to wait and see. But I preferred this episode to the previous two, as it made me understand the reasoning behind the main character's actions. Now that we also know that some real magic is involved here, it's hard not to imagine that a certain Doctor Strange wouldn't want to check in, and I'm sure we're in for some pretty big action moments, whatever happens. I'm hoping they can really capitalise on this great character exploration and give us more answers to the other questions that they still need to reveal. I'm giving episode 8 of WandaVision an 8.5 out of 10. I hope you guys enjoyed my breakdown and review, and overall, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the final episode of the new Marvel show, which I will be covering on the channel next week. I'm also intrigued to hear all of your thoughts on episode 8, so let me know down below in the comment section, as well as listing your predictions for episode 9. For more content on WandaVision, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoy this video, remember to leave a like rating. I am covering every episode of Season 1 alongside bringing constant updates on all the new Marvel shows, so make sure to keep a lookout for whenever I post. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.